Gears of War 3. Now recently I decided to play through the entire Gears of War franchise, and after completing Gears of War 2 on hardcore, I had the bright idea to tackle on Gears of War 3 on insane difficulty. Little did I know, this is regarded as the hardest Gears of War campaign on insane within the original trilogy, with under 3% of players actually achieving this. I wonder if I could even pull it off. The game opens with a dream sequence where Marcus witnesses the alleged death of his father. This also serves as a tutorial. I took some damage, but I didn't die yet, so far so good. We wake up and meet up with Dom, who's growing some radishes on the ship, but there's no time for that because Lambent stalks have been spotted and it's time to armor up.
Come on, Dom, armor up.
When I made it to the deck and faced my first enemy, it quickly became clear that this wasn't gonna be easy. Alright, so insane mode is going to be a little challenging. Okay. After clearing out the first wave, we get a surprise visit from Chairman Prescott, who gives Marcus a disc showing a video of his father who's still alive. Crazy, right? Especially since Marcus has been dreaming of his death.
Marcus, it's your father.
Yeah, I know it.
Right? Like, obviously. After a few more deaths. Fire over here. I can't move with a fire extinguisher. Dom and I are introduced to the Silverbacks to take out the Leviathan. Now this was my first real taste of insanity. We had to shoot the Lambent in the eye, deal with all these Lambent and these annoying exploding spiders. Oh, and Dom doesn't really do anything on the Silverback, so you're pretty much alone. After a few deaths, I found a good spot in a corner to take everyone out. Then Coltrane and Bear drop a bunch of tickers to take out the Leviathan, but down goes the ship and we jump overboard. Now this part was pretty cool because we jump back earlier in that day and get to play as the Coltrane, woo! Getting his perspective up until that point. Coltrane has to deliver some groceries on a mech suit, which was more challenging than expected with the Lambent stalks coming out left and right. And after making the drop off, we move forward and encounter our first gunker. This is by far my most hated enemy in the series. Their spiders are annoying, and they can kill you pretty quick with their explosions, but the gunker lobs these missiles at you, and the splash damage alone one-shots you. After more than a handful of deaths, and Carmine almost dying,
Please, what the fuck?
we meet up with some scavengers who love the Coltrane and are more than happy to help us resupply.
We haven't got any food to spare, but we might have something else you need.
She want him to lay down the pipe.
I meant supplies.
Hey, okay. Shortly after grabbing some more ammo, we get stopped by another gunker. I kept dying over and over and decided to end my first stream just to keep my sanity. Bro, there's no way he's fucking throwing that shit in between the shipping container like that. Luckily in the next stream I was able to clear this within a few tries. Mostly just rinse and repeat, which seems to be the same for almost every fight in this game. Just keep doing it until you get it done. Now on our way to Coltrane's old stadium, we get ambushed by more stalkers and another gunker. This was one of the hardest spots I've been in. I kept dying over and over almost 30 times in a 20-minute time frame. When I finally killed the gunker, another one spawned along with grubs and those annoying spiders. There's another one. There's another one? I honestly thought this is where my journey would end. Even my teammate ran in front of my boom shot, getting me killed that way. But after sticking to it, jumping back and forth, I finally cleared the area. That literally felt like an achievement within itself. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's fucking go, bro. Holy shits and tits, bro. We finally get inside the stadium and Coltrane finds his old locker, reliving the glory days for a few minutes. As a character who was a football superstar before E-Day, this entire sequence being in the stadium was a great move to show us more about everyone's favorite superstar. Once the Lambent start taking over the stadium and the scavengers are forced to leave, we meet their leader briefly, but unfortunately we never see her again. I thought she was pretty cool. I wonder if she's dead or not. Who knows, maybe we'll see her later on.
Oh, here are the keys to my luxury yacht.
Then we fight our way up the bridge and we get to the tickers and drop them on the Leviathan, thus leading us to the present time. Here Marcus learns about Azura from Prescott before he dies. Azura is this hidden research facility where his dad is actually alive and working and has just been taken over by the Queen like just a few days ago. So all this madness is happening in a relatively short time frame. And then right before Prescott dies, we get this encrypted disc. So it's off to meet Hoffman at Anvil Gate, which there is a Gears of War Anvil Gate, which I'm meaning to read. So I'll probably check that out later this week or next week. Let me know if you read that down below. Now in this section of the game, we actually get a one shot Now this sniper is badass, but it's also a pain in the ass. I know, a lot of ass going on here. If you hit the target, they pretty much explode, but it's hard as hell to aim correctly and quickly take out targets. Still, I had fun with it until I died and it was time to put it down. And then once we made it inside the Locust stronghold, we see a ticker assembly facility with tickers being dragged along the ceiling. You can shoot them and have them fall on enemies, which I thought was pretty awesome. And then we stumble upon our next boss, a big ass spider, or I guess a corpser, with little baby eggs ready to hatch all over and these teenage spiders coming in every wave of the fight. It took a few tries, but honestly it wasn't too bad as long as you kept moving around. If they had a few guards on the top railing or walking around shooting, it would have been a little bit more challenging since you wouldn't be able to just freely run around. All in all, I thought it was a good fight, shooting the spider's eyes until she ran around and pretty much eliminated herself. Now making outside the spider's den, or corpser's den, we make eye contact with the queen, and she knows exactly who I am, Marcus Phoenix. She sends off an alert sending a bunch of enemies at us, and then she flies away with her big pillows.
I got your number, bitch.
And these little flying things are called shriekers, I'm pretty sure. They're pretty much flying tickers with machine guns. They're a little annoying to shoot because they keep moving around. I feel like I'm just wasting half my ammo trying to take these things down. At one point I thought it was best to just use my pistol to reserve my Lancer ammo. Now once they're gone, we fight more enemies and then make our way to steal the gas barge. Those monster looking blimps. Whatever happened to blimps? Now just before we get on one of those blimps, there's this ring around the rosy fight with a barrage circling you in the air, and you have to dodge these bombs and kill the enemies that fall off. And it feels almost like a lucky fight at times, because if you're behind cover, you could still get splash damage and die from the missiles, and there's really no way to indicate exactly where the missiles are coming from. Like, yeah, you're supposed to circle around and stuff, but it does get a little bit confusing at times since there's no like alert. It's kind of just shooting missiles at you and cross your fingers and hope to God you don't die. After a few tries, I managed to hijack the blimp, and it was off to Anvil Gate. On the way, we spot Dizzy taking on a whole horde army by himself, so we decided to drop in and help him out. Now, helping Dizzy took a few tries, but was actually a lot of fun. There was ammo resupply points and different weapons to mess around with, like the Hammer of Dawn and the one-shot. After finally clearing the area, we get back to the gas barrage with Dizzy on board. We could always use more cog. After taking out some Reavers, the Queen launches her first attack on us. Just a taste of what's to come later in the game. After she burns us out of the sky, we crash land, but luckily no one gets hurt. And we finally arrive at Anvil Gate to warn Prescott about the incoming grubs. But just as we think we have a moment to breathe, the grub army starts their attack. It's relentless. Boomer after boomer, breaking through the front lines, pushing us back. I couldn't find the reserve fuel tank to finish the mission, which was kind of frustrating. I was like, where am I supposed to shoot? But then someone in the chat helped me and I was able to run back outside, find the fuel reserve tank, and blow it up, taking out the remaining forces. After that, we get a cutscene where we're introduced to a new character who's talking to Baird, but she doesn't really play a big role after that. Maybe we'll see her in future games. I don't know. She seems like she could have been a badass. Then we had a quick rescue mission to save Anya. After this awesome execution, we fight off more grubs, and then the big guy shows up. A freaking Lambent berserker. Like, what the hell, dude? So freaking cool, yet terrifying at the same time. And the only plan we have is to run back to base. We thought we were safe once we made it back, but nope. This dude jumps over the wall and it's time to go toe to toe with him. This fight was pretty fun, dodging him and shooting him. It was pretty simple. After dumping Lancer Mag after Lancer Mag into him, he finally explodes, but you know, it's time to keep moving. Would have been really nice to have a Hammer of Dawn here, but oh well. And it's also kind of weird that no other cog soldier helped out since we were at Anvil Gate and there was plenty of them to help, but whatever. Now it's time to get some fuel for the tanker, and Dom knows exactly where to go. Maria's hometown. We head out to Mercy and get a cool highway scene shooting everything in sight, and finally arrive in Mercy. The entire town is a ghost town, which is odd since Dizzy said just a few months back it was filled up. We walk around and find some fuel lines, but they're all booby trapped with explosives, and we need to disarm them because, you know, we need fuel. We find this old man who seems to have gone completely crazy, and then we find him dead, and it's all so confusing, like, what the hell is going on? Then we get attacked. Humans are being turned into Lambent, and we're hit with wave after wave of them as we try to find the fuel pump to turn on. I guess we know what happened to the settlers. The initial taste of insanity was early on with Coltrane trying to get into the stadium, and then we got two gunkers back to back and it kept dying. This was my second taste of insanity because it was extremely difficult. We got locusts attacking, we got Lambent grubs coming out of stalks, and now the Lambent humans. Literally 3 waves of enemies back to back. It was insane. I died so many times here, but eventually I managed to survive just long enough for the cutscene to start. This part was wild. Dom, after losing Maria, decides to sacrifice himself to save Delta Squad. Man, this really broke Marcus, and it was totally unexpected. No, I didn't cry, but I definitely got some dust in my eye. Then we move on to Act 4, and it's clear that Marcus has had a complete shift since losing Dom. I mean, it just happened, but you got to keep pushing. And I mean, dude, I've been reading the books, and they've been friends since they were 10 years old. Anyway, we're still looking for fuel. We come across a new camp ran by Griffin. He's the leader over the fuel. And man, he was so cool. I hope we get to see him again. He was voiced by Ice-T, and it just fits so perfect. Anyway, he captures Dizzy as collateral and forces us to retrieve his cart so he could keep getting fuel. This is like the next wave of insanity. I thought I would never get past this. You got limited ammo, the glowies keep moving in, and the Lambent wretches are major pain since they explode. And at this point, I'm coming up to almost 200 deaths, and I'm pretty sure I never died this much in a game before. After dying back to back to back, I decided to end the stream because I was just spinning in circles and nothing was working. And who decided to put the ammo on the ledge just for it to fall off? The developers are literally trolling at this point. After finally clearing this section, we move into the building and boom, human Lambent ambush. These enemies are actually kind of nice because they die so quickly. I couldn't imagine them having more health. I would have had a much harder time. We clear the room and proceed to the elevator only to get a nasty surprise. A freaking gunker drops on us with nowhere to go. This might have actually been the best way to fight this guy up close and personal, just dodging his slashing hand. And once you dump enough Lancer rounds into him, he explodes, and I was expecting to die, but I didn't, so good stuff. We reached the top and had to get the cable car working, killing some more human Lambent, and then finally cutting the car free. And as we start to ride back, the freaking horde charges the building, and it's time to save Dizzy again. Once we clear the building, Griffin isn't too happy since we basically led the Locust right to him, killing most of, if not all of his people. He rides off pissed as hell and seems to be the end of him. Like I said, he was a great cutscene character, and I hope we get more of him in the future. After this, we got to go get a submarine so we can reach the island where Marcus's dad is being held. Along the way, we run into our first armored Cantus. This fight was wild because you have a boom shot him or hit him with multiple explosions. Then when you finally kill him, 2 more show up with some other enemies and a freaking caterpillar. So like always, I died a lot. After more than a handful of deaths, I finally pulled it off. They really aren't kidding when they say this difficulty is insane, because it is. We finally make it to the sub, shooting some fish that start attacking and then outrun a Leviathan, making our way to the island. And this place is just overrun with locusts, and all the humans that lived here are just dead. It's wild. This is where the elite people of the world hid during the whole locust invasion, but now they're dead too. We then progress a bit, and Marcus finally hears his dad talking over his speaker. His dad sees Marcus through the security camera and guides us on a path since the train has been destroyed, because that would have been too easy, right? It's pretty much just moving along, fighting wave after wave of enemy, trying to reach Marcus's dad. We take out reavers, boomers, catapults, and then the queen shows up on her flying bug? I don't even know what that is. It's like a big ass beetle that shoots fire. We dodge her attacks and then shoot a chandelier down on her, and well, we think she's dead. We finally reach Marcus's dad, and he tells us all about the locust and how he knew E-Day was gonna happen, but like Coltrane says, we don't got time to talk. We need to reach the top and set off this weapon that Adam Phoenix cooked up. Now this is where the queen comes back, and what a pain in the ass this fight is. The first stage wasn't so bad. I didn't really understand why people said it was hard until the Hammer of Dawn came out. You need to grab that to kill the queen, but the locusts keep grappling up and shooting, making it nearly impossible. And if you take too much time, she destroys the weapon and mission failed. But after about like 30 deaths and reaching 298 total deaths, and I got a little bit lucky here, I finally beat her. Adam Phoenix then lets us know that everyone is gonna die, the locust, the Lambent, and even himself. It's a sad moment, and the queen gets back up, but Marcus delivers the final blow. It really was such a great ending kill. The whole day is saved, the locusts are gone, the Lambent are dead, and we could finally relax. But I mean, honestly, at what cost? Marcus lost his father again. He lost his best friend, and all he has left is Anya, really. I guess it's time to repopulate the human race. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. It's my first type of commentary style review video. I was gonna upload the full gameplay, but it came out to a total of 19 hours, and YouTube only wants me to put out 12 hours. I can't go past that, so that's why I did the voiceover for this. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.